do I really have to answer this? Let's just say people have different opinions on this and what defines life, but if you can understand the sentence I'm saying right now, you are alive, and the following applies to you. Liberties are the freedoms afforded to you by virtue of the fact that you are alive. They stem from your natural talents, so different lives have different liberties according to their different natures. This is the basis of the concept of natural law, and natural rights too. You have the right to do what you can do. Property is the result or product of the exercise of your liberties. Most rights derive from property, but property itself derives from life and liberty, so you can pick what you think is fundamental, and it all depends on the case. Privacy derives solely from private property, which derives from liberty and life, as I said before. Without the sovereign right to property, one, in my view, may speak only of possessions. Security is not a right at all, but something you must personally guarantee for yourself. One of the most important things you have to do to protect your security at a fundamental level, as rights are inalienable but not inviolable, they cannot be separated from you, but they certainly can be violated, is keeping the powers of the state in check rather than expanding those powers in the name of security. What life has rights is still an interesting question, still something that we debate. Why it is that humans have rights beyond the ability to claim them is, at least legally, the fact that non-persons are not mentioned in U.S. law as anything other than property. And, of course, with great animal rights come great animal responsibilities. What can't you do? Well, we can't do what we can't do. That goes back to natural rights. If you can't do a reverse slam dunk, you can't do a reverse slam dunk, and you don't have a right to do a reverse slam dunk. But what of what we can do that we can't do? Things that we can physically do, but we can't do legally. We are limited by the natural rights born of the life, liberty, and property of others, as well as local law and statute. Legal codes and statutes can be challenged and repealed, however, rights cannot. So you might have a paradigm like segregation, where if you wanted to have a hotel that allowed black people and white people to stay in the same room, that was illegal. That's a violation of your rights as a hotel owner. So segregation is not, although we had statutes, those statutes were right to be violated, they were right to be challenged, and all those, anything that was committed under that time or any penalty suffered under that paradigm were basically rendered void at the time segregation was rendered void. What can't be property? Well, previously in the United States, nothing. But now persons are not recognized as the property of other persons, with the notable exception of artificial persons, i.e. corporate persons. And while I'm against corporate personhood, the issue is still not met a direct challenge in the Supreme Court, and it is a topic definitely that deserves its own video and its own treatment. You can sign away your rights in a legally enforceable contract for some condition or some period. You can have your rights deprived through legitimate legal proceedings to your property, liberty, and in the capital cases, your life. So your life, liberty, and property can all be compromised, but not without due process of law. Returning to privacy, any notion of privacy, again, is incoherent without a notion of property. Without property, you not only lack the legal means to protect your papers and effects and your property, you have no property to protect. Slaves did not have their right to privacy respected, nor did they expect such a thing. If objects are merely possessions, privacy then describes a flexible convention that will shift according to the political culture of the time, i.e. privacy will be a so-called positive right, power, a privilege, a benefit, or an advantage to which one is entitled by the government. It's something the government gives you and therefore the government can take away. Perfect security is, over infinite time, impossible to guarantee for any system. But if you believe in privacy as a conditional positive right, perfect private security seems like to me something that you would actually want legally prohibited. You could take examples in countries including the United States where they're trying to reckon with the problems posed by digital encryption. They're trying to illegalize math. Well, if you believe in natural rights, then you have the right to secure yourself and your property by any means responsible and non-hazardous to the general public that your imagination can furnish, or to not secure yourself at all. You can go crazy and just be a risky guy. It's up to you. This includes the construction and deployment of security mechanisms that are effectively, at least at the moment, inviolable by private or public agencies. While this answers some of the general questions of personal security, it does leave the question of general security open, and I'm skeptical about that being perfect too. I think America is well served by a strong navy and a capable armed forces, but even turning the United States into a literal police state will not offer perfect personal security to everyone, even if we discount state violence as violence entirely, which is ethically confusing, to say the least. We can't keep people safe, and we can't keep contraband material out of our prisons, including the supermax level, above maximum security supermax prisons. We still have problems with violence and contraband. Our best bet will still be to protect ourselves from tyrants and bullies, both public and private, with our own personal defense and taking some measure of responsibility. It doesn't mean that we don't want to have a law enforcement place, but it is worth framing some of these things in terms of where our rights derive from. And the whole notion that rights derive from property is something that took me a long time to swallow, so I would appreciate your thoughts below. Comments, like, and subscribe. Check out my channel for more videos on politics and other subjects. You have a good day, night, evening, afternoon, as it were, wherever you are, whenever you are.